Okay, guys, so here we have another battle. This time it's gonna be pretty crazy. There's gonna be a set of battles, best 2 out of 3, and this is gonna be a multi-battle tournament. So I'm battling here with another member of PEMDAS, Toasty. Um, so yeah, this is a pretty crazy tournament. This tournament is in a Discord server I joined called the Spear Pillar. Now they got all these crazy tournaments, and I'm already in one, another one. I just haven't posted the battles yet because I'm waiting for the tournament to end. So I'll make sure to leave the link to that Discord in the description. So make sure to check it out if you're interested in joining in these tournaments. Um, but yeah, there's also going to be a part 2 coming out. This is only the first game, so, well, the first set. So if you guys are interested in more content, make sure to stick around and wait for the next videos because there's going to be more battles to come. Um, but anyways, this is the first set. The teams we're using are just very standard BDSP VGC teams. I just found some and just tweaked them a little bit, just made synergies work a little bit more, changed a couple stuff. Um, so yeah, here we just decided to go with the standard lead. I can intimidate both. Toasty can spam earthquakes, and it's pretty good here. We kind of have a bit of an advantage. It's just Shuckle is gonna be annoying. It's gonna set up webs, which doesn't really affect me, but it's definitely gonna be a little bit tough for like Raikou and all the other mons Toasty picked. Uh, okay, so here that he's gonna U-turn out. I'm hoping that Toasty went for the earthquake here, which I'm pretty sure he does. And I just went for the waterfall. I want to try to knock out the Shuckle. I'm hoping that the waterfall plus the earthquake is enough. But as we'll see here, um, it just barely misses out. Uh, so yeah, here comes the earthquake, which does not do a lot to Shuckle. Shuckle's very tanky. And even this waterfall, yeah, it doesn't knock it out. So then Shuckle just gets its webs. As far as I remember, I haven't really seen webs that much. Whenever I played in VGC, from what I remember, hazards weren't really the best because of how fast battles were happening. But this is a multi-battle, so things are definitely different, and the webs will come into play in this battle. So, uh, so yeah, the webs are definitely annoying, and we don't have any defoggers or nothing because these are just VGC teams, so there's no reason to have like defog and stuff like that. So yeah, here I feel like I we're pretty safe to do a lot of different stuff. Right now, I'm kind of afraid that the Latios has like Thunderbolt or something, which this is why I'm planning on switching out into Zapdos, I believe. Um, so yeah, I want to switch out just because I feel like Gyarados is going to be very important for dealing with an Infernape. I don't believe it has Thunder Punch, and I think later its entire moveset gets revealed, so we get to see that it isn't. But yeah, here comes the Surf. It does a lot to the Mamoswine, and even Shuckle gets taken out here. Uh, Mamoswine goes for the Icicle Spear, but unfortunately, we only hit 2 of the Icicle Spears. So, yeah. But that's alright. Zapdos is out now, and this is a choice specs Zapdos set, so it hits pretty hard. I can only go for electric type moves, but it's fine really. It really only needs electric type moves. I really wanted to fire off a Hyper Beam this tournament, but unfortunately, spoilers, I don't get to fire off a Hyper Beam. I really wanted to. Just that surprise knockout with a Hyper Beam. You know, they think they're safe, and then I just specs Hyper Beam, but I do not get to do it here. Um, Here he's go for the discharge because you know we have the disc quake combo. He can go for earthquake, I can go for discharge, and we're both fine. But unfortunately, the Mamoswine has wide guard, so our discharge basically doesn't do anything. And I'm kind of have to switch out here just because not the Mamoswine, the Mantine can just keep spamming wide guard and it can just block my attacks every time. So I can't really do anything about that. So I just decided to go back to Gyarados, especially considering the Infernape is out. And I just want to weaken it. It can probably uh, deal with the Mamoswine quite well right now. Um, so I just decided it's probably for the best just to weaken it. It might just take it out, or Toasty might have just gone for the Protect, but I think he switches out here, so we're safe in that regard. Um, and just it being weekend is all the better. Um, it's really that Mantine that is gonna be pretty annoying, especially later on what it's gonna do. That Mantine is a really interesting set. It's gonna have some crazy moves as you guys will see later on. Um, yeah, here comes Meow Meow the Raikou. Now Raikou is in these battles turned out to be one of the really the biggest players. It was just doing damage to everything. So here the wide guard comes out again. The Mach Punch, because of the Intimidate, does not do that much. Even with the Life Orb boost, it only deals a little bit. Here I feel like I'm pretty safe to just Dragon Dance, because I feel like they might just switch out. So I use Dragon Dance. I feel like that would also let me outspeed the Latios and then maybe get off a crunch. So I feel like as I'm pretty safe to use Dragon Dance here. Now the Mantine's gonna use some crazy tech. It's gonna pull out a move that I never thought I would see in this tournament, but I guess they used it. Here the U-turn out, get a little bit more damage on the Raikou. But yeah, here they switched to Garchomp as Toasty went for Thunderbolt on them. I think they were trying to predict a switch or something, but it just didn't quite work out. And now the Mantine gets to go for a Tract of all moves on my Gyarados. So now I'm just like, oh man, it's going to be kind of annoying. Luckily, I already have one Dragon Dance up, so I just decided to just go for damage on this Garchomp. Hopefully, maybe I can flinch it. I don't think I knock it out at this range, but at the very least, I can get some damage in on it. So, and I'm hoping right now that Toasty can also like Thunderbolt the Mantine, and we can maybe get like a bit of a double knockout or something. But here, the Garchomp, I believe this means that it's Scarf, so it's revealed to be Scarf Outrage, and it deals a lot to my Gyarados here. But yeah, here the Mantine reveals to have a Wakan Berry, so it lives the Thunderbolt. Then it goes for Roost, gets its health back again. Not too sure what the fourth move might have been, maybe an attacking move, but I'm sure given the craziness of this Mantine, it probably had something else, something other crazy. So here I was thinking maybe I can go into Gardevoir and just be immune to the next outrage, but I figured that if I did that and the outrage just locked into the Raikou, then that would be pretty bad. So I decided to stay in. So that way, if the Raikou died, then I just took out the Garchomp. But if I died, the Raikou just took out the Mantine. Regardless, I still have my Gardevoir. Fortunately, our Scarf is not going to do anything at all, because if this is really Scarf Chomp, then it's going to outspeed us anyway. And because of the webs, we're not outspeeding even if it was regular Chomp. So here, either the outrage locks onto me and it does nothing, or it locks onto the Raikou and takes it out. So I'm here. I'm pretty safe to just go for a Dazzling Gleam and take out the Garchomp. Uh, but unfortunately, there is one situation where we could lose Raikou here, which it's not really ideal, but and that is what happens. We do lose Raikou, which is one of our heaviest hitters. Luckily, Zapdos is still alive in the back and still has its specs, so it can still deal plenty of damage, so this Clefable can't really stall us out. Here I just go for Dazzling Gleam, finish off the Garchomp, which is definitely very threatening. Spamming Outrages can be pretty tough. Here the Clefable goes for Moonblast, goes for damage on the Gardevoir, and gets a special attack drop, which is going to be pretty annoying. Gets itself back with leftovers. But yeah, unfortunately, Clefable here it's kind of one of those mons. I remember whenever I played more VGC back then, it's referred to as one of those mons that just sits there and gets ignored because it's just a tanky mon, but it's dealing damage, but there's no real reason to go for it. As you probably want to go for like the tougher mons. So right now, I think that both me and Toasty are just gonna ignore it and just. I believe Toasty just went for the Snarl here. The Seals look the best play, but as you guys will see, things get a little unfortunate. Here he goes for a Dazzling Gleam because I know it can take out the Latios as well. Still get a little bit more damage on that Clefable. Thankfully, I'm going for Dazzling Gleam and not for Moonblast, because this Clefable could have had something like Follow Me or something, and had I gone for like a Moonblast or something, then it could have probably been redirected to the Clefable, and that would have not been good. But yeah, here the Latios goes for a Draco Meteor, and it connects, and it crits. So it takes out the Arcanine. It doesn't get to do anything in this battle, because the Intimidates, they don't really help against Clefable and Latios, because they're special attackers. But here, he's go for Dazzling Game, take out the Latios, get a little bit more damage on the Clefable. Clefable opts to heal with the Moonlight, so this already proves that maybe my Gardevoir is not enough to beat this Clefable, but luckily we still have a little bit more firepower left with what we have, so it's still pretty safe. My opponent on the left corner is running out of Pokemon too, so once we deal with all of them and only Clefable is left, it can be a pretty easy 2 versus 1. So, and here both of them only have 1 Pokemon left. I still have 2. Toasty only has Mamoswine left. So here I really have no other choice but Dazzling Gleam. There's no reason to not to. Toasty goes for the Protect, maybe hoping that the Dazzling Gleam can take it out. And then my opponent goes for the Mach Punch, trying to finish off the Mamoswine, which is a good play because then that means that it would have been a 2v1 for them. But the Protect saves the Mamoswine here, and I go for the Dazzling Gleam here. Get a little damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't knock it out. Maybe because of the special attack drop. I'm not sure. But here, my next Dazzling Gleam is enough to take out the Infernape, I think. But yeah, even now, Zapdos is left, and Zapdos, I believe, with a Discharge can probably deal with both of these, but you guys will see how things turn out. At this point, the match is very close. I think we have the slight advantage, but I think we can still lose from this position. But here, Toasty decides to go for the Ice Shard. It actually deals a fair amount of damage, misses out on the KO, but here the Infernape decides to go for a Flare Blitz, and it knocks out the Gardevoir, and knocks itself out in the process. Critical Fable, I believe, probably was trying to go for the Thunder Wave on the Gardevoir, but it gets redirected to the Mamoswine and it does nothing. Um, so here I just end up going to Zapdos, and at this point we can just both go for like Discharge and Earthquake and just take this out. Well, I don't even need to go for Discharge, I can just go for Thunderbolt. As you saw there, I hovered a little bit on the Hyper Beam. I really wanted to finish this off with a Hyper Beam, but then I realized that, maybe if Toasty doesn't go for the right move, or if this Clefable decides to crit me or double target me, I could lose. So I didn't want to go for the Hyper Beam just because I wanted to play it safe. So I just decided to go for a Thunderbolt. Um, Deals a lot of damage. Clefable does manage to live, so it's very tanky. Um, Here, Toasty will get some safe damage with the Ice Shard, and then we finish this off with a Thunderbolt. So that was it for game one. It was pretty interesting. It was very fun. Oh, and I forgot to mention, during these multi-battles, we cannot talk to our partners. So yeah, we're kind of trying to guess what we're all trying to do during this. So it's a little hectic because of that. So mostly I'm trying to predict what everybody's trying to do, so I can just best adjust my plays according to that. But things get interesting. So here they completely switch things up on us. They bring Cresselia and Heracross instead. We decided to go with like very similar mons, but with just different leads. I think we picked like the same exact mons, just different leads. We felt that we just had a very reasonable advantage the last time, so we just decided that we would go with the same mons. Here, the double intimidate is good enough to neutralize this Heracross, but this Cresselia can be an issue. Now, this Gyarados carries taunt just for probably fighting Trick Room and stuff like that, so that's the reason I kept that on there, and I guess it pulled through here. I go for the taunt, hoping the Cresselia is not like Power Herb or something. Here, Toasty decides to go for the Flare Blitz, and it barely misses out on the KO on the Raichu. So now I'm pretty scared because an electric type attack can go towards my Gyarados. But here I taunt, and it turns out that Cresselia is probably not Trick Room, but it's actually a screen setter. So I believe this set is probably something like a Moonlight, Ice Beam, Reflect, and Light Screen. So that's pretty interesting. So the taunt is pretty key here. But yeah, here I just gotta swap out just because this Raichu is threatening an electric type attack, and I really don't want to lose Gyarados early on, especially with that Heracross running around. Luckily, this Raichu is a low health, so we won't have to deal with it much longer. And I believe for Toasty, a Snarl is pretty safe here. But they switch out into Mamoswine, probably predicting like a Discharge or something like that. I just go to my Zapdos here. And the Cresselia swaps out too into my Milotic. Now they just go for a plain Thunderbolt on Zapdos, which does a fair bit of amount of damage, but the Life Orb takes out the Raichu, so we don't have to deal with it again. Now here comes the Heracross, and I think it's revealed later that this Heracross is Scarf, so I'm thinking right now that the Discharge is probably pretty safe, get some damage into my Milotic, and then maybe an Earthquake can be coming out or something like that. But we'll see that this Heracross will reveal the Rock Slide, and it'll hit both of us, and Scarf is going to let it outspeed my Zapdos. It also has Moxie, which makes this all the more scarier. So yeah, I think Toasty just protects here, but the Heracross is still just really scary, and the Milotic, it's just very tanky. It's gonna be hard to deal with. So yeah, we do see the Protect here. Then we see the Rock Slide. The Mamoswine's safe for now. Uh, but this Rock Slide definitely takes me out. It's a lot of damage. Ammo's already at half health, so I can't tank that. Zapdos is taken out. Um, then the Moxie just makes his Heracross a very big threat. And then the Surf, it gets damage on the Heracross, but luckily the Mamoswine protected. So this is just easy chip on the Heracross. Here I obviously just decide to go into Gyarados. Because if this Heracross is Scarf, I believe Gardevoir can't outspeed it. So I decided to just try to weaken it a little bit, try to neutralize it. Here I'm hoping maybe Toasty goes into Arcanine to try to weaken this, but I feel like a Dragon Dance might be safe here. The Heracross can no longer deal that much damage just because of it being weakened. Gyarados can tank this quite well. I believe this Gyarados is a bit of defense investment too, so it can tank it a little bit well. And the Gardevoir, the Milotic, it's not really that threatening. It could try and scald me and maybe burn me, but I believe it's probably just something like Surf, Recover, Ice Beam, and some other move. So I don't believe it can really touch me. Here they go into their Metagross, which turns out to be pretty crazy later on. Here comes the Rock Slide. Gets damage on both of us and flinches the Mamoswine. So if it was going for Earthquake for damage on the Metagross, then we don't get that, which is a little unfortunate, especially because of what that Metagross is going to do later on. But weak Dragon Dance, we're pretty crazy. I decided that I should just try to take out that Heracross just because it can be a threat later on, especially since we can't communicate. We can't really tell that, oh, maybe we should bring this out to weaken it or something like that. So we can't really plan against it. So I'm kind of just thinking, okay, we need to get rid of this fast. So I just decided to go to the Waterfall on the Heracross slot. I don't believe I outspeeded, but I definitely lived the next Rock Slide. So I'm kind of just hoping I don't flitch. But they switch out the Heracross, so just goes out into the Gengar. Gengar does not really tank a Waterfall from +1 Gyarados. Now they bring out the Arcanine. Unfortunately, the Heracross already swapped out, so there's not much that the Intimidate can really do, especially because Metagross has the clear body, so Intimidate doesn't do anything to it. However, we still tank the Bullet Punch quite well, and Gyarados, well, it would seem to take out the Gengar, but it does have a Focus Sash. Now here I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is like Destiny mode. I don't want to go for it, but I'm also thinking, oh, that would be a little weird because Focus Sash, and I'm also thinking, okay, Toasty can probably just Snarl, but it is Destiny Bond, which is a little unexpected. Here I just go for the crunch for damage on the Metagross, but it just tanks this quite well. And then here comes the Snarl. It does not knock out the Metagross, but it knocks out the Gengar. So the Destiny Bond goes off, and we lose Arcanine. And now I'm a little bit scared just because now this the Heracross is kind of free to do whatever it wants, especially now with this explosion taking everything out on the board. So everything that's out gets knocked out. So this was a crazy turn. Luckily, I at least took out the Gengar because, yeah. Otherwise, that explosion would have done nothing to the Gengar, and it would still been alive. But yeah, that was just a bit of an unfortunate turn. But I mean, Metagross is out, Gengar is out. However, now one of our heavy hitters, Raikou, and Gardevoir get to come out. I hear Cresselia and Heracross. Luckily, though, I believe my opponent on the right side, yeah, they're on the last Pokemon. Here, I really have no choice but to go for the Psychic. I have to take out this Heracross, otherwise it's just gonna rack up damage. It's gonna get too crazy. So I just decide I need to get damage in on it. I need to take it out. The Cresselia, I can't really stop it from sending the screens anymore, so this should make the game last a little bit longer. But here I believe Toasty swaps out into Mamoswine, which turns out quite well because I believe this Heracross decides to go for an Earthquake, I think, possibly to try to take out the Raikou because it's definitely very scary, especially for them, especially considering the last one they have on the back is Milotic. Yeah, here go for the Earthquake. It deals a fair amount of damage to both Mamoswine and Gardevoir, but I'm able to tank it, so I go for the Psychic and take out the Heracross. So now it becomes 2v1. But now they're setting up the screens, so this is not good for us. It makes things last a whole lot more. Unfortunately, I'm checking what I have, and I have no Mons left, so the only choice I have is to spam Psychic here. So really, it's kind of all up to Toasty here. But I believe in him, and of course, he pulls through. So, so you guys will see how this happens. Here, I'm just getting in for damage, trying to get a Spadef drop is the only thing I can really do. Here we go for Icicle Spear again. But unfortunately, we only get 2 hits again. So we aren't dealing much damage. And a Nice Beam comes out. It freezes me. But I thaw out right away, so it's not that big of a thing. Especially since I'm not really dealing much damage. Maybe if I stayed frozen for longer, maybe it would have mattered a bit more. But I thaw out right away. I'm able to hit more Psychics, get a little bit of damage off, but unfortunately here, I think Toasty misclicked or something and went for an Earthquake, and it does nothing to both me and the Cresselia. Luckily, I have the telepathy on my Gardevoir, so it allows me to be immune to stuff like the Earthquake and the Discharge coming out from my partner's side. Here the Icicle Spear comes out again, but I believe we get only 2 hits again. So a little bit unfortunate on this match. Now especially the Cresselia just gets to heal all over again, and we're basically back to square one, and I'm slowly running out of Psychics. Not much I can really do. I can't swap. I can't really do anything. I'm kind of afraid that I will have to go through struggle. But here Toasty decides to switch into Raikou, probably because it deals more damage. A little bit more chip with the Psychic. Nice Beam again. I think I barely... Okay, it deals damage. Still hanging on. Probably can lip 1 or 2 more. And here I go for a Psychic again. Hoping for another Spadef drop, but I don't think I get any in this game. So, yeah, I think I only get 1 crit too. So here comes the Psychic again. I think, yeah, that one was the crit. So it deals a fair amount of damage. Sorry guys. It looked like my headset died there for a little bit. Not like you're missing out on much. We're just getting damage on this Cresselia. Now we knock it out. Okay. Now only the Milotic is left, but things are still pretty close. My Gardevoir is very much weakened right now. There's not much I can really do. So I'm at 3%. I can only go for Psychics. I think the light screen's off. I don't remember. here we're just trying to weaken it, whittle it down. Hopefully the Thunderbolt can one-hit KO it, but as we know, Milotic is a very tanky Pokemon. So we go for the Psychic, deal a little bit of damage. Thunderbolt comes out, but I believe the screens are up, so this is why it's able to tank this quite well. And then they use the Mirror Coat, so it takes out the Raikou. So now things are getting interesting. However, I believe an Earthquake from Mamoswine should be able to take this out. So, and even then, a little bit of damage plus the Psychic should be able to take it out, especially considering the screens are off now. So Psychic should deal a fair bit amount of damage. But I believe Toasty just goes for the Ice Shard here, which is still fine. We still win from here. I definitely think Toasty did a good job. I think we played our mons well, and our opponents played quite well as well. Their teams were very interesting. Well, that's probably going to be it for this video. This battle's ending quite soon. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and make sure to check out the server if you guys are interested in battles. But that's it. Egg out.